Welcome, golfers, to the next episode of the Read It, Roll It, Hole It podcast. Today, I am really excited. We've got a really cool guy on the show. We've got Noah Hessey on. He is a full-time caddy on the DP World Tour, and he's been doing this job for 2 years. We're going to dive into what that was like working with Francesco Laporte for the last 2 years, what his experience has been like, and what he's learned along the way. And hopefully there's going to be some great nuggets in there for you guys to hear from him to implement into your game to get you better. So without any further delay, please can I welcome to the podcast Noah Hessey. Welcome, Noah.
Hey, Ollie. Yeah, thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
Great stuff. Great stuff. How you been? Okay, you've had a few weeks off?
I've had a few weeks and I've got a couple more weeks off. I'm enjoying the downtime. Yeah, it's all good.
Brilliant. And you're off surfing this afternoon?
I'm off surfing this afternoon. Yeah, that'd be 3 days in a row. That's what my off weeks look like.
Mate, it says it's 2 degrees here this morning and you're going in the sea.
Yeah, it's actually warmer. The sea temperature today, I think, is 11. So it's tropical, mate.
Is it true that you wee in your wetsuit to warm you up?
It is true. I've just got a new one, so I'm a bit reluctant to do that quite yet. Keep it nice and fresh, you know.
You can't just put like a hot water bottle in there.
No, well, you could do. There's potential.
Excellent. So, as I said in the intro there, no, like you've had 2 years as a caddy out on tour on the DP World Tour. Tell us what that experience has been like.
Unbelievable. Literally living the dream, as they say. I know it's a cliche, but I am. I played, and it was always where I wanted to be as a player, and wasn't good enough. And it's the next best thing. Traveling all places all over the world. Tournaments, unbelievable. Seeing some of the players up close, you know, in the same groups as them, chatting to them. It's brilliant. I've loved every second of it. It's been awesome.
I love it. How many countries have you been to in the last 2 years? Do you know?
I don't, but it's something I should check. I've been to a lot, but I don't know the.
Don't know the number, but you've been to a few places for sure. What's your what was the favorite? Where's your favorite place that you've been to the last 2 years? You were like, wow, this is the best.
That's a really good question, and people ask me that all the time, and it also depends on how the week's going. If you miss the cut, your week's a bit short, and then it doesn't feel as good. But I've done 2 years now. I've been to Crom, Montana, which is the Amiga European Masters up in Switzerland, and that's always pretty spectacular as a place to go. But South Africa, Leopard Creek, which I think they're playing there next week. Yeah, those two probably stand out really.
And what's so amazing about that course in Switzerland?
You know what, the course itself isn't particularly great, but it's the views and just the whole feel for the week, just the people that come to watch, where the course is situated. It's right in the town. It's just a great experience. Everyone stays really close. It's just really cool week. It's just got that sort of vibe to it. It's great. I really enjoy it. I look forward to it every year.
Nice. It always looks amazing on telly. It reminds me a bit like Cleve Hill.
Yeah.
Have you played Cleve?
I have. Yeah.
On a nice sunny day.
Yeah. No, it's
on a nice sunny day. Cleve Hill looks like Switzerland, I reckon.
Yeah. Just as good views. Yeah.
Excellent. And what about where's the best place for food?
Food war. Well, having worked for an Italian for 2 years now, when we went to the Italian Open last year in Rome, he did. He was my tour guide for the week. Basically, he took me to some great places. He knows a lot of people, and the food was just ridiculous all week. Unbelievable.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing. Italian food is definitely my favorite. What did you have? What kind of, were you going to Italian restaurants out there then?
Yeah. He knows a lot of people, so we had sort of a schedule of bookings in the week, and I think every night he was like, right, don't worry, I'll order for you. So he's picking the best dishes that he knows from this guy, and I can't remember exactly, but they were just, I know they were fantastic. They were unbelievable.
Oh, you're making me really hungry, and it's only 9:30 in the morning. What's like, I don't know, what's like a real sort of 5-star place? Where's like the most immaculate, like, I don't know, 5-star that's just like, can you get better than Dubai? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to say Dubai. Just you know what? I've been there 3 times now, 4 times, maybe 5 times actually. No, and it is 5-star. The whole that just everything about it is 5-star. But I feel like, and I always tell people that it's great for a week, but I would never want to live there. I don't know. It feels a bit too much like Fantasyland. You don't get any character in Dubai. It's all, just money, and everything's too perfect in a way, which is great for a week. But people that live there, I couldn't do that myself.
It hasn't got the culture of Bristol, mate, has it?
Exactly. No. Bristol. Nothing
Bristol's
better.
where it's happening.
The boys.
Good stuff. Okay, so I want a funny story from you from tour this year or last year. What's like some funny moments? You must have like so many, obviously great moments and times. Is there any that are sort of PG that you can share with us?
People ask me this a lot, and I never come up with anything. I mean, we went to, funnily enough, not in Europe, but we played a PGA Tour event this year. It was co-sanctioned. We played the Barracuda, out in California, and Frank had been to America a few times. I'd actually never been to America, which was unbelievable. I've been pretty much everywhere else. So it was my first experience in America, and we played the Pro-Am on the Wednesday, and our Pro-Am partners, you couldn't get more American sort of people. They were so loud. They were so just your typical, what you would expect an American to be. It was hilarious all day. They're shouting, screaming, hollering after every shot. They were terrible at golf. And I just remember me and Frank were just laughing all the way around at them rather than with them, because it was just, it was surreal. It was like we're in some sort of movie. It was brilliant. But funny stories. I must have some in there somewhere, but I don't know. I laugh a lot. We have a great time. There's something happens every week. That's great.
We had a funny moment with you up in Scotland. So I was up in St Andrews with the Rick Valentine golf schools that go on in the summer, and we popped up to the Fairmount one afternoon, and you just come off the course and you were on the driving range, and the group after you had just come off the 18th green, and some player got his 3-wood out the bag, snapped it over his knee, and just chucked it in the bin right by us, and just stormed off. And one of the guys we're with jumps over the fence, runs to the bin, grabs the club, and then hops back over the fence. And he had a brand new Titleist 3-wood. We didn't quite recognize who it was. Anyway, we go up to the range, and you were there with Francesco, and I sort of called you over and asked if we could get a picture. And fair play, you both were very sort of gracious with your time. But Francesco, he asked the kid who had this half a 3-wood or this 3-wood head in his hand, like, where the hell did he get that? That was quite funny. Do you remember?
I do remember that. And funnily enough, when we saw you on the course, just while that was happening, we had a couple of words, didn't we, as we were walking down the fairway. You were walking sort of off to another direction, and nothing was really for us that day. And the next shot, I don't know if you would have seen it. They put it all over Twitter, all over Instagram. He actually holed his pitch shot from like 80, 90 meters, like a couple of bounces, dunk in the hole. Probably the best moment of the week. Got something going. And it was just after we sort of bumped into you, which I thought was quite funny. You were like a good omen for us. You need to come out more often.
We should have stuck with you maybe to have seen that. We just walked across and went to see someone else. But
you would have seen the shot of the week there if you'd have stayed for another sort of 3 minutes.
I do remember seeing that on your Instagram. I didn't realize it was the same hole. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Happy days. So you can't drop anyone in it and give us a funny story or when someone made a cock up of some sort.
I mean, a cock up in a funny sense. Not really. Nothing comes to mind. There's, things happen. I my terrible. No, I can't think of anything really. Nothing comes to mind.
Nothing comes to mind. I don't know if the signal went all poor there, but we can cut it out if it's not any good. But okay, cool. So, and what's like the caddy scene like? What's the gang? Are they all on the beer? Like, do you have these little ranches where you hang out and then get smashed together?
Yeah, I mean, guys do that. I'm sort of, I don't drink much when I'm away. I might have a beer or two of an evening with dinner, but I don't sort of. There's groups of guys. You know, I'm still relatively new. A lot of the guys do go out and have a good drink most nights. And of course, if you miss the cut and your players not practicing on a Saturday, you know, you've got the whole weekend usually because you've already got your flight onto the next event. So I know guys do have a couple of messy weekends after that, but there is, yes, drinking goes on for sure. Lots goes on. I don't get involved with that. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet. They haven't. You haven't sort of been out there long enough, maybe, to join the bad boys.
Into those groups yet, but you know, I'm quite happy.
That's a good thing. I'd say that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay, no. So, can you take us like to the course? So, let's say, well, you tell me, what does a normal week look like? You're traveling from one event to the other. What does that week look like from start to finish?
Well, working for Frank the last 2 years, he will have a longer week than most people. You know, they always say that Monday's a travel day, but for us, Monday was travel and maybe 9 holes day. So we'd always be doing something on the Monday, whether it be just a range session or 9 holes. I think your week will get you'll build your week around whether you're playing in the Pro-Am or not. So if you know you're playing in the Pro-Am, whether it be 9 holes or 18 holes, that's always a bit nicer, because if you're not in the Pro-Am, that means you can't go on the golf course on a Wednesday, which means you have to get your prep done Monday, Tuesday. So usually if we're in the Pro-Am, which we have been pretty much every week this year, it's a bit more of a quieter Monday. Putting green, spent a lot of time on the putting green, just getting used to the speed of the greens, you know, a lot of pace drills early on in the week.
What kind of pace drills would you go through now? He
sort of dabbled with a few things this year. He works with Eduardo Molinari, who it was Statistics Golf, and they've got this really good app that he uses, which has a few pace drills where what I like about it is it's random. So he'll set the range from 15 feet to 45 feet, and the app will come up with a random putt of right to left, medium break, 35 feet downhill. So we'd find that putt and then he'd hit it. So a lot of random distance drills, but he also likes a usual, he'll hit a drill that I'm not that fond of, because I don't really like, I'm not one for hitting the same putt twice, unless it's for a stroke reason, you know, unless you're working on your stroke. But he'll often go for like a 15-footer and hit 3 balls. I'll put a tee like 2 feet behind the hole, and he can't move on to the next putt until he hits all 3 balls between the hole and that tee. So whether he holds it or, you know, just past, so it just in the little, just basically getting everything to the hole or past it. I'm not, it's okay, but I'm not a huge fan. I prefer it when we hit random putts and it mix it up, because that's exactly what it's like on the golf course. You never get to hit the same putt twice.
100%.
Yeah. So
that's cool. They sound like good. I like the random drill. I've got a very similar one on the flat stick combine on the Spider Putt app that I use. Wonderful, great way to practice. Well, the pace drill, each their own, isn't it? I think it's it is. I would sort of as you would, I'd agree with you that if you could do that, run that, but only one putt at a time, that could work better. But each their own. Some people sort of as long as you hit it, it's only warming up, isn't it, or getting a feel for the green. So good. Anyway, I stopped you. Carry on. Monday night, go out and get smashed on loads of Italian wine and food.
It's Mondays are pretty chill, and then Tuesday we'll certainly play at least 9 holes, and he's a sort of, for him, he'll do a quite a decent gym session in the morning before we practice, and then we'll practice, play 9 holes, have lunch, and then he'll practice again. And he's a very much a sort of 8 in the morning and won't leave the course till 5, 6 in the evening. You know, it's a full day every day with him. He's very much of he puts a lot of hours in, and it's something that, again, I haven't always, just if you can do just as good work with half an hour than you can in 2 hours if you're really productive and working on the right things. So that's something that I think, moving forward, I'm not with him anymore. And I said, and the people around him have agreed that, maybe just managing his time a bit better, giving him a bit more rest as well will help in the long run for sure. But then,
so like you mentioned, a 2-hour practice session could be half hour just as good. What prep did he do in those 2 hours, and what do you think he could do then?
He's always obviously working on something, as most guys are, or all guys are, and in the swing. But it's too much. Alignment stick down, TrackMan out, tripod filming every 5th swing. Like it's too much, too robotic, just hitting in a flat lie, just straight in, just saying same target for 2 baskets of balls. And we did in the middle of the year, we did sort of try to mix it up a bit, put the TrackMan away, stop looking at the numbers and just hit shots. I would get the Bushnell out and laser a few of the targets, and let's hit a little soft fade, or let's just hit a 3/4 shot here, and just trying to mix it up. You can get a little bit too robotic, maybe there's a better word for it, but just too samey. It's almost like he's not challenging himself really.
Sounds like he's trying to be like trying to get the swing to be perfect rather than sort of playing golf. Would that be fair?
Yeah,
we criticized, by the way. He's like top and but he's a wonderful golfer, right? But
and he always listens to the advice in a way that, because he's always trying to get better, as all the guys are. And sometimes you need someone who's looking from the outside in to just say something, and it's hard for him to change his ways, but he did change his towards the second half of the season. The TrackMan wasn't out as much. TrackMan's great for doing numbers, which is something we would do in the week if we're at altitude, say we're in like where they are in Joburg this week, or somewhere like Cron, it was a bit higher up, so just working out how far the ball's going at the altitude. And so we got our stock numbers for the week. That's TrackMan's fantastic for that. But having it out all the time in the warm-ups, in the practice sessions, you can get a little bit too focused on, my swing path was this, or my club face angle was that, and it, instead of like, well, hang on a minute, the shot was exactly what we were looking for, but if the numbers aren't right, you're not happy. And it's sort of there's a time and a place for TrackMan, I think, and it is quite easy to fall into the deep dark hole of just being obsessed with it.
Definitely diving into the data too much. But on his numbers, do you know what his can you share with us what are his numbers for all 13 clubs off the top of your head?
Oh, you mean yardages? So we work in meters. So he's got, it's his 58 degree, what is it, like around 90 meters? Yeah, 90 meters. And then he's like 110 with a sand wedge, 120 gap wedge. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. Usually have them written down. I haven't worked a few weeks now. It's gone out of my mind.
It's putting you on the spot there.
I think he's around 150 meters with 9. He's sneaky long, really. So this is meters. So yards, that's like nearly just over 60, 65. Yeah. 7-iron goes 165 meters.
Do you know what I love? You just snuck in there a bit of caddy chat, right? They don't tell anyone about this. You ignore the 1. So you just call it 65.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? I've done that before. You know what? I was playing, funnily enough, at Saunton the other day when I played. First time I played for ages. And I got the Bushnell out, and whoever Mitch was with me, I said, how far is it? I was like, 72, mate. And the guy who was with us, who used that chat, has gone, I think your Bushnell's wrong. I was like, no, 172. Sorry, yeah, we just skipped the one out. Just make
Caddy
it quick.
chat.
Yeah, but yeah, that's without even knowing. That's caddy chat. Brilliant.
Like it. And going back to the wedges, would he have like a matrix there now of like, I don't know, 3/4 half swings or?
Yeah, so well, when I started working, this is probably the biggest input I ever had with him, actually. When I started working with him, he only had, now let me get this right, he had 58, 52, and a pitching wedge, like an actual pitching wedge from the iron set. So he only really had 2 Vokey wedges, basically. And hitting the softer shots, you know, there was massive gaps in between the clubs, and you'd always carry like a 3-iron and a hybrid, 3-iron and a 2-iron, basically, or a hybrid. And there was too many times where the gaps were too big in the wedges, you know, trying to hit soft shot, you know, trying to take 15 meters off a soft shot. So we changed, and we've put now an extra wedge in the bag. So he's got 58, 54, 50 and wedge. So just doing that meant that he was doing less with the swing. He can do just the normal shots. The spacing, the numbers were better, and it was so much better in the middle of the season. That change, and I think that change will stay in his bag for a long time. But yeah, going back to your question, yeah, he'll hit. He's very much like with Frank, we always have like a soft shot, the normal stock shot, and then he could always hit a full one where he could get like 5 more out of it, basically.
Okay.
But he was always quite good at feeling the number rather than a clock face swing or 3/4 as such. Again, another great use of TrackMan. The one of the best uses, obviously, their sort of TrackMan Go, their combine sort of test where they'll put out random numbers, random pitching numbers, 68, and then go to 92, and then go to 74. Yeah. Just doing hours of that. That's the best. That's, you know, just doing that repetitively can really get your feel spot on.
It's a wonderful way to practice, isn't it?
Really good. And you don't need a TrackMan. You know, guys at home can do it. If you've got a range and a Bushnell, and you can have a pretty good effort, or you can put a cone out there at random numbers and just switch it up. And I think it's going from the 73 up to 122, and then down to 50, and then, you know, really mixing it up. That's where you'll improve massively, I think, is doing stuff like that.
It's wonderful. Great way of practice. Bit of a shout out for Tickenham here and Top Tracer. So we've got Top Tracer down at Tickenham, and Top Tracer is coming a lot more common around the sort of country now. And they've got a 30-ball combine, if you like, on there, like a TrackMan test. It's 30 shots, and it's a right variety from like 50 yards to 220, where you've got to hit the fairway. Yeah. It's just a wonderful way to practice, just like you're saying, right, hit one 147, now hit one 83, now hit one 210 down the fairway. So it's nice way to practice. That's cool. Cool. Okay, so when you're on the course on those 9 holes, 18 holes on the Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, what exactly are you looking for and running through with the course planner? Do you use Eduardo's, like, it's a decade, isn't it? Like a
I mean,
what is that?
Well, we input all the stats every shot, and have done for just over a year now. And what is good about that is that sometimes he'll come to us at the start of the week, and something that always sticks in my mind is the 17th hole at the Dubai Desert Classic at Emirates Club is like, it's a dogleg par 4. It's not far. It's probably 290-ish meters to the front. But the first time I went there, I was like, well, this is a 5-iron to the corner and a wedge onto the green. You know, you couldn't see the green. There's tall palm trees blocking your view and the carry. And that week, Eduardo came to us and said, you got to hit drive. You got to go for it every day, regardless of where the pin is, what the wind is doing. And basically, he's called that decision based on Frank's shot pattern over the last year with driver. Everyone that's hit driver in the last 30 years, he's got all their stats for what the stroke average, the scoring average on that hole was if you hit driver in comparison to if you hit the 5-iron. So he's got a big sort of a load of data, and he's basically worked out that if we hit driver on the 17th there, we're gonna gain 0.2 strokes around. So you add that up for 4. You know, that's basically. So he'll come to us some weeks with stuff like that, which is quite cool because you'd stand there and you'd go, nah, let's just hit it in the fairway where we see it. And he's saying that by doing that, we're losing, strokes just for 1 5-iron shot, So things like that are quite good. And he'll come to us on a few occasions throughout the year on the schedule with stuff like that, which is quite cool.
That's nice, isn't it? It's it's really interesting. That 0.2 of a shot per round is one shot in a round of golf, and that could be worth 100 grand. It could be more, right?
Yeah.
It's a hell of a thing. So.
And what he's been good at as well this year, and what we've incorporated into our course management or our strategy, or however you want to say, is that he tells us that when Frank decides to hit a 3-wood off the tee, he's not actually any more accurate than he is with driver. So assuming there's not water run out or a bunker that just covers the end of the fairway or the fairway runs out, just if you're thinking about hitting 3, just hit the driver, because you're just as accurate statistically. So you might as well hit the driver and hit, a club and a half less into the green, rather than, standing on the tee box going, oh, well, hit the 3-wood, it's a bit safer, when actually we know statistically he's just as accurate with driver as he is with 3-wood. So we can just commit to the driver. So we've done that a few times this year. Just cool. Been in between on a decision, we just go, well, we know we're just as accurate with this club, mate, so let's just hit it. And so when you've got the stats behind you, it does help. It's still golf, and you still how you feel with the club and how the swing's going and how the round's going, and there's obviously lots of other factors, but it's good stuff. It's really good stuff. Nice.
And what about on the greens? What do you get a bit of aim point out there for him? I know when you started working with him, you come to see me to learn a bit of aim point to potentially be sort of part of that, or be a tool in the toolbox.
It is good. He used to use the green books, and they were banned. Was it last year? So this year is the first year without using the green books, I think. And he'd be the first to admit, he has struggled with the reads. So my first year with him, I never read any greens. He did it all on his own, had the green book, off you go. This year, I've read every putt all year, because he hasn't quite got that that verification of the green book. So he's always wanted a second opinion, and most of the time his reads are great. But I've always thought that aim point, he might benefit from a few aim point sessions just to see, because a lot of guys do it now, and even if it's just using the feet, if you're not sure. And I have done it a couple of times with him. I obviously am not. I've had one session with you. I'm not fully competent on it, but I know when we go on the practice screens every week, there'll be guys with they just draw out the lines where the 1 degree slope, 2 degree slope, so you can sort of calibrate. And I have a go now and then, and I have on a few occasions when we've been really struggling to see something, I'd go in with the feet and go, yeah, there's just a touch left to right there, but. All in all, no, we don't really use it, but I think it's something that he would really benefit from, and he just says he can't really get the feel for it, but I'm sure you have people that come to you that say that, and over time, if they stick at it, they can find it for sure.
100%. I think the more you practice it, the better you get. I can sort of openly say that I've put 1,200 people through aim point, and every single one has left the class being able to feel slope. Well, so 100%. That's cool. That's good. And when you're on the greens, would you find, I don't know, the fall lines, the straight putts, that sort of stuff, avoid 4% slopes? Yeah,
I mean, it's funny. I started working 3 years ago. I did a year on tour or half a year after COVID with Oscar Langdon, a Swedish guy, and I would always walk, when I walked the course, or if in a practice round, we knew where the dot is. We always look for the straight putt, and I worked for him at Challenge Tour Grand Final a few weeks ago, and it's a really good way of doing it, because and I draw it in the book where the straight putt is, and I'd use a tree behind the green, so I know exactly where my straight point is, and I'd write that in the book. And it's great if you know where the straight putt is, because I remember working with you know where the left to right will be and the right to left will be, and all of a sudden you've almost got your green read there straight away. So that's Frank's never done that, and I've never done that with him, but I know Oscar did that, and it's really cool idea. I mean, with Frank, we would normally, if we can see a dot, we'll put a tee down and we'll putt to it, and we'll make a mental note of the break on it, or we'd hit a putt where we expect to hit our 7-iron approach to, maybe into the fat part of the green, bit short, bit long, whatever. And he'd hit a couple of rolls, and I'd draw it in the book just as an idea, but not specific really. But yeah.
Interesting. No, that's good. Okay, so it comes to tournament time. You're Thursday morning, you're on the tee. What does that morning, say you've got 11 o'clock tee time, what time's your alarm? What time is that? What happens from 6 to 11?
Yeah, so 11.
I say 6. I don't know why I said 6, but
yeah, well, probably not far off. Yeah, 11. So Frank would always we'd be on the putting green an hour and 10 before. So that's 10. That's 9:50. So usually we have breakfast at the golf course. I usually sort the bag out. I line all the balls up. He's quite, whether it's superstitious or not, but he has different coloured lines for different holes, and so I'd get the bag ready, make sure everything's good to go, all the snacks and all the protein stuff. So I'll be
stopping you there. Lines, different colours, different lines, different. Tell me more.
He has a green line for the front line, so he has to have a green line for the front line. So I'd mark up three balls with a green line, say, and then the back nine he has to use a red line, and then if one of the balls gets damaged by the wedge or he has to hit provisional, you use a blue line. So there's 3 different coloured lines in the bag all the time, basically. And he's one of the only players. There's 2 players that I know do it on tour. It's him and Tapio Polkanen, and they start the first round is with let me get this right, with a 2. Yeah. So Thursday, round 1 is a tight list 2. Round 2 is a tight list 3. Round 3 is a tight list 4. And then round 4 is a tight list 1. So he goes 2, 3, 4, 1. Most guys will go 4, 3, 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3, 4. But he goes 2, 3, 4, 1, which is random. Another weird thing that he's always done it. So you sort of get used to it. You don't really question it. But yeah, it's just all golfers are superstitious in some way, aren't they? So that's what
I love that. I love those funky stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you. So you're preparing the bag.
Bag's ready. Yes. Yeah,
9:50.
So I'll be at the locker at 9:30 getting it all ready. I'll probably have breakfast at 9 at the course. Yeah, I mean, it depends. If you just said what would my build up to a 2 o'clock tee time be? Often, most of the time, I usually do the pins the night before in the book, or I might have seen them the day before. But if I haven't seen them and I've done them in the book in the hotel room, there'll be a few that I'll be like, that's an interesting one. And I'll probably go out and walk the course before the round just to check the pin, maybe watch a few guys. What's great is you can just stand there in the crowd and just watch, a particular, maybe a back left flag and see where they're landing their wedge shots. Are they landing it at the flag? Is it pitching at the flag and bouncing and going through the back? Is it spinning way back? Can you be aggressive with it? Just learning things like that. Maybe tee shots. How firm is it? Is there people hitting 3 wood? Are they running out into the bunker? Just make notes of little things like that, which is great when you stand on that hole 3 hours later and go, well, this morning, Frank, I just watched 4 guys pitch this ball 2 past the flag and they all ended up in the rough. So we need to be landing this no further than pin high. And just being able to tell the player that just gives them so much more confidence and commitment to the shot, because they know, that you've just given them raw facts there.
I love that commitment from that is you earning your crest there, man, going up and beyond.
A lot of guys do it. It's just the thing, you just got to do it. Also, what else are you going to do if you're teeing off at 2 o'clock? It's nothing worse than a late tee off. You're just sitting around doing nothing. You might as well be productive and get out there, walk a few holes. It's great. Like, I remember doing it. Probably the best week we've had for Wentworth at PGA last year. Like walking out there with it's just you just want to be out there. It's a great course to be at. The energy is unbelievable. There's so many people about. Of course you just want to spend as much time as you can out there. It's great. It's we do it, but I enjoy doing it. It's good. It's good fun.
That's brilliant. Cool. So you're on the course. You've smashed your drive down the middle on the first at Wentworth. You're on top of the hill though. The pin is, let's go. Okay, the pin is 20 on and 6 on the left, so it's back left.
Yeah.
talk me through the process you have. You have, I don't know, 180 yards to the flag.
Okay. So the first thing obviously we get, so obviously we don't use Bushnells or anything. So there's coloured dots in the fairway, which will be drawn in the book as well. So we'll pace off from the dot. So we're 6 onto the red dot. We'll both do it. We always both get the number and then check with each other that we have, because often, you know, more times him than me, but, you know, what'd you get there? 162. Oh, I got 183. How's that? You know, what's happened there? You know, so always good to double check. I remember I worked for Laurie Cantor for a week. And when we rocked up on the Tuesday, probably, he's like, "Oh, just to let you know, I don't use a book, so you just get the numbers." And I was like, "Oh, wow!" Like, it was good, but it's like, don't get it wrong.
Yeah.
You know. So we'll work out the number. Then you just go through the usual sort of what's the lie. If you've said we're in the fairway, but it could still be a downslope, side slope, whatever. The wind, of course. I've got a few apps that I check before the round to check the wind forecast. The tour, I have the forecast as well, so I make sure that all the winds are what we expect them to be. So whether it's the southeast or whatever, and the forecast. So I'll jot down like 2 o'clock. So halfway through the round, the wind's actually switching to whatever. Yeah, so it's good to note all of that down so you're not caught off guard on the course. And often on a course like Wentworth, like trusting the compass is that's a caddy phrase, a well-used caddy phrase, trust the compass, because you'll often get a breeze coming down the chute, down like a tree-lined hole, whereas, you know, on the compass, it's the complete opposite. So it's, you know, how are you playing the shot? Are you playing it above the tree line? The wind's going to do this, or, you know, things like that you take into account. Wind, lie, got the number. Then we've got where the question I always ask is, where do we want to land it? Because that's the only thing we're trying to do. Where do we want to land it? That's, you know, we're never landing it in the hole. You know, you've got 180, we're not hitting it 180 ever. Yeah. It just doesn't happen. So 180 for that back left flag, it'll be right. Where do you want to land it? It'll probably, greens are quite firm this week, so probably 172. That's our land. Right. Well, you little puff into, that's playing 175. Oh, stock number for this club, and that'll be what the process will go through. Really, never ever landing a number. And I think that's what a lot of amateurs you see. Oh, I've got 170. Oh, I'll hit my 6-iron 170. 6-iron. In the summer, you hear that, you're through the back of the green in thick rough. You know, it's totally. never the number, really.
I think, you know, you've hit a point, a big point there. The amateurs definitely just Bushnell it and go, it's 150. Okay, it's my 8-iron, and just hit it. And they don't consider the lie, which can make a huge difference. Don't consider the wind, which makes a huge difference. Don't consider the roll and how far it's going to, roll essentially to get the carry. And also, I think they can be over aggressive, so the pin could be at the back. And it's 150. Would you like? I don't know, that hole on at Wentworth, if you miss sort of long left, is probably a pretty shitty chip.
Yeah.
Would you sort of go 2 yards to the right, 2 yards short of the flag as your new target, or something along those lines?
Yeah, I mean, another thing that, going back to Dodo Molinari's Statistics Golf, he created for Wentworth and for the Porsche European Open and for another event, he basically created a similar to Decade, although you'd hate me saying that it's similar to Decade, but that sort of system where he would actually give us, before the round, our optimal pin target for every hole. So he'd input the actual flags that day into his system, and he would give us our actual pin that we're aiming for based on our shot, or Frank's shot pattern, with whatever club he predicts us to have in on that hole, which is unbelievable, really. So he knows. So for that flag, for instance, if we're on the top of the hill, we're probably hitting a 5-iron in, 6-iron, say. So he'll know our pattern, our shot pattern over the last 2 years with 6-iron, and he'll know that we've missed a lot left with 6-iron. So our target will probably be, and it will be written in there, so it'll probably be like 8 right of the flag and 3 short of it. So if we had 180 as our actual number, our actual pin that we're aiming for is 172. So that's all we're thinking about. 172 is our number. you know.
Eight
And then
right of the flag, yeah.
8, yeah. Sorry. 1 sorry, 3 short of it. Sorry, 8 right of it, not just 8 short of it. Yeah. So yes, 8 right of it. So he'd tell us that if you look at the flag on the shot, if you put the flag down, if you imagine lying the flag, was it 5 meters? That would be right of the flag, or was that a bit? I can't remember exactly what I said, but there was a tool you could use if just in visually to tweak your aim in comparison to the flag. So we'd be aiming way right of it, and he'd know on that shot.
Hey, I've got something for you. A bit of aim point works, you know.
Go on.
So 2 fingers is like 5%. So if you had like 160 yards, 2 fingers with a straight arm would be roughly 8 yards.
8 yards. Okay, there you go. So it's just exactly like that. Then he'd tell us that, but it would be a different. You know, he's using the flag, you're using the finger, so the same thing.
Same stuff.
Yeah, and he, based on that, he would, you know, if you hit 10 balls, 2 of them would end up stiff to the hole because our shot pattern, he does miss it. 8. Yeah, you know. So, but it's basically every shot out of 10, say, would be on the green in a good spot. So things like that, pretty good.
That's massive, isn't it? And do you know what? There's one thing picking a target right at that flag 8 yards, but it's nothing committing to it. Did you say he was good at that?
Yeah. No.
Or would he aim right and then pull it?
It's, you know, because I input the stats for however long and you have to be honest with the target. So if we've trusted a target, that it's 8 right, and he hits it, and it's bang on the flag, in the stats that is going down as 8 left of target because we're not trying to hit it. And often I'll say, well, you know, what did you change your target there? He's like, yeah, I just wanted to go at it. You know, sometimes he will say that, and because it's hard. We all play golf, we all know what it's like. There's the flag, there's the hole staring at you, and you just want to send it at it. And it is really hard to be that disciplined. And I think the great players over the years have just been disciplined, especially I've not done a major, so I don't know what it's like, but I can imagine being disciplined like that at a US Open.
US Open, Augusta, or even British. I can't believe I called it the British Open there. The Open.
The Open, yeah. Yes, I think being disciplined to your, you know, your targets is a massive, massive thing that the top players have done and are good at doing.
What Tiger did, wasn't it? You know, that's sort of basically what decades based its numbers off is Tiger's shots for the last 20 years. And
pretty much
that's what he does, is he commits to his target, which is never actually at the hole.
Yeah.
He's aggressive to his target. So brilliant. No, I just want to finish off very quickly with sort of what's next for you. You've obviously done 2 years with Francesco, and you've finished with him now, and that's all good and well. That relationship is, you know, tell me about that relationship. Maybe not, but what's next is what I'm really interested in.
What's next? Yeah, well, me and Frank finished great. I messaged you, so he had a good week last week. I think he came 13th in Joburg, which is great. So we're good mates still, and I'm sure we'll go out for dinner, hopefully at the Italian Open again.
Yeah.
Again, that'd be nice. So next for me, I don't know. I'm actively looking for a new bag. Obviously, what's great is that now I know quite a few people, like managers, a lot of other caddies. They're all sort of, you know, send you messages like, I'm looking out, I'll let you know if I hear of anything, this and that. Managers, I've got this player, I've got that player. Do you want to put your name in the hat for this, that? So there's options on the table. I've not made a decision yet. I keep being told that there'll be quite a shake-up around Christmas after these South African events. So we'll see what happens. I mean, hopefully, ideally, I'd love to start at Abu Dhabi. I know it's quite a big event, and I think that's an optimistic to think that I'll be there this year, but we'll see what happens. You know, I'm quite enjoying some time off. I did 32 weeks on the road this year, just pretty long year. So I'm just enjoying sitting on my surfboard for a few days, and you know, it's all good. I feel like I've done a decent enough job the last 3 years on tour to sort of be known as someone that takes their job seriously and that's pretty good at their job. So I'd like to think I'd get someone decent, you know.
Definitely, I totally agree. And you know, listening to you today, you've really impressed me. So that's good. With it's a bit like dating, isn't it now? So is there an app, like a Tinder app?
Tinder
Or,
app for caddies and players. Yeah,
yeah.
maybe be onto something there. Yeah, that'd be quite a good idea.
What would your bio be? Come on, this is your, like, we've got a load of tour players listening to this now. They all listen, right? All, especially the top ones who earn all the big dough.
Okay,
They
right.
listen to this podcast. So I want to know what your bio is
What's my
for them
bio?
to click to swipe left or whatever it is, or right, whichever way they go.
Okay, well, Noah Hessey, 28 years old, 6'1".
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I would say that
Big, strong shoulders.
Yeah.
Ginger
think
hair.
what do you say?
Ginger hair.
No.
Oh no. Okay.
No.
You've got blondie hair.
Blonde hair. Yeah.
Bristol accent, so you can't understand a bloody word.
Half the players gone because they can't understand it. No. I would say I'm quite. I would say if I had a caddy style, I'm very positive. I work hard. Like, I work really hard for my player. And I love being, as everyone does, being in contention. I've had a sniff of it a few times now with Frank, and it's just, there's been nothing better than really trying to sort of manage the player and sort of get them to hit the best shots they can and give themselves opportunities. And I'd say I'm really positive. I'm very. I tell you what, I could be better at. I could be more. And I think this is what you learn over the years, is just to be more. Sometimes you have to just step in and just say, well, no, you're not hitting that, or and I think that's something that I could certainly be more assertive, in the way, in my caddy style. But at the end of the day, positive, hardworking, and I just love it. I've just got good energy, and I want a player that will match that energy, sort of thing. Someone who's here for a good time but super competitive and wants to win, as an ambitious, because I'm ambitious as well. Someone like that. So if you're out there, my number is.
Mate, I love it. You're selling it to me. I want to go on tour myself here and get you as my caddy now. You're motivated. Brilliant stuff. Okay, no, that was an absolute delight. I've no sort of doubt you are going to get what you deserve with another great player, and certainly going to do a great job for them. Your mind is wonderful, and I really appreciate your time. I picked up loads of little nuggets there today, and I'm sure the listeners have as well. So all the best. Have a great Christmas and all that, and hopefully we'll see you on the telly in Dubai in January or February.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, thanks for having me, Ollie. Top man, awesome.
Brilliant. Thanks. No, just say that last bit again. It just seemed to go all. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, thanks for having me, Ollie. That was great. Top man. Cheers.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot for your time.
Cheers, dude.